live in and share together Australia. Thank you. Item 1's apologies, so I have none. Thank you, we're all here. Just might mention, councillors, the excellent display in the chamber and in the passage, and encourage tell as many ratepayers, residents to come and look at it. It's really instructive. Lovely little opening last Friday of that, so if we could spread the good word around our history there. Number 2, acknowledgements. I have no notice of any acknowledgements. Do we have any? Number 3, declarations of conflict of interest. Anyone wish to declare? Councillor Arthur. Number 2.
Chair, I just acknowledge the Tintinara Bowls Club who run the Upper South East Championship on the weekend for the 3rd time in a row. The Tintinara Under-16s Cricket Club who also won the premiership quite easily though. They got the opposition out for 93 and they won none for 94. So you might say very instructively.
Was it the Heat that got the opposition or what happened?
Yeah, well, Keith was the opposition.
Oh, even better. We beat Keith. They're very good. Okay. I'm on conflict of interest, councillors. There appears to be none. Number 4, confirmation of minutes, councillors. Someone prepared to move that way, please. Councillors O'Hara and Peach is what I'm going to put down. Is there any discussion, corrections, anomalies? There is none? Okay, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Those against? That's carried unanimously. Number 5, adjourned business. We have no adjourned business. Number 6, Mayor's report, councillors. You'd be noticing I had half the month on leave. I thank the Deputy Mayor in particular for filling in, and I did get away for a week. Got bailed up in Deniliquin by some people who felt that we stole all their water again, but that was very interesting. And that hasn't changed, that's right. Is there any questions around that? Perhaps I might, Councillor Peach, yes.
I just had a question regarding the Regional Drought Resilience Plan discussions and if there's been anything further since that meeting on that.
Not quite. So the survey results are looking at how many, the survey results are not really public yet, are they, from that? I believe. Not far. Yeah. So while that's an internal survey, a public survey within the 5 councils of the old Murray lands, in addition, I'm LGA's delegate to the state reference body. This stage, we're trying to do some work within LGA, a matter of pushing that along around what other assistance local government could offer, and our target area is how much rates are paid by farmers and small businesses in farming areas, and what happens if that a significant percentage of that cannot be paid, perhaps the next 6 to 12 months, people cannot afford to, and what assistance perhaps we could go to the state government to help continue the business of councils without going perhaps and putting pressure back on the farming community. That's the area, one area working in. Another area we probably need to think about fairly soon is public standpipes. There seems to be no common position around that either. There's a bit of press in the last few weeks. Each council appears to treat them quite differently as well. So I'm in liaison with the Local Government Association around that as their delegate. And I think we're trying to get me in front of the board, give them some broad advice at their next meeting.
So actually, I to follow up on the stand. It would be good to have some feedback from staff on what are the major issues around it, the standpipes for us in our area.
That's right. And as all things, there's all different arrangements across the state, and public gets confused by any statements around that. We have some that were put in during the 08-09 period, as you know, at Menengi in particular. There's some other informal ones. There's some that are potable water. There's some that's not. This is a whole group of questions, and there's, I know, and particularly some other councils, how do you charge for it? Because SA Water still charges whoever the owner of the standpipe is. So, whole group of questions there to follow up on. I don't know that this council's greatly affected at the moment.
I think at some point it would be good to know, well, what we do have across the district.
That's right.
For a start, if we are asked by ratepayers.
Yeah, that's right. That's about all I've got. So, councillors, if you're happy with that. Councillor Maidment, you wish to add to your report at all?
No, thank you, Mayor. It's pretty straightforward. And no, I think that's pretty good. Thank
Very
you.
good. Councillor Corman,
Thank you, Mr Mayor. No,
congratulations on becoming chair of our Roads and Infrastructure Committee.
thank you, Mr Mayor. Yeah, it's a privilege, and thank you to Councillor Arthur for. I've got some big shoes to fill to take over from Councillor Arthur. No, I haven't got anything else to say on my report. Thank you.
Very good. And item 7's petitions. We have nil. Item 8, we have deputations, and we have 2 today. Can someone ring the Tintinara posse and see where they are, Tammy, please, if at all. But I will start with Henry Angus and Louise Standers from the Menengi Community Sports Ground. So this is the Coorong Community Sports Club project. Councillors, there was an email circulated, I think, yesterday, day before, is that right, around the proposal? You've all sort of had a perusal of that or aware of that? So, Henry and Lou, do you want to come up the front, please, or where can we get them in front of a mic?
You've got the mobile one.
We've got the mobile one, wherever you want to put it, Kelly, but we'll get Henry to be doing most of the talking, I imagine. Is that right, Lou?
You need a mic.
Yeah, well, yeah, and get the mobile one, please. Welcome, and councillors, I'm on this committee when I get there, but this project's been in way, what, a couple of years at least, isn't it?
In this form, it's been away for the last 2 years. Yes.
Councillors, you may be aware that both this and the other proposal today and one other that will be forthcoming in a special meeting we intend to call on the 1st of April. Councillor Maidment.
Yes, Mayor, are we in confidence or not?
The sign's the wrong way around. You're dead right.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Just
No, we're not.
your recording. Thank you.
We'll be dealing with these proposals probably on that meeting on the 1st of April, late at this stage. Right, Lou, Henry, welcome. 10 minutes is yours.
Okay. Well, thank you to Coorong Council for the opportunity to discuss our project. Ashley, how are you going with the as you all aware, with the Menengi Community Sports Ground? I'm the chair. It's an independent executive. The membership is made up of representatives from the clubs listed up there, and Louise next to me here is the community member on our committee. But the entity has been in existence for over 10 years, and it's only recently that we've actually seriously got things underway to try and develop the new community function centre / sports club.
Everybody, I'm Louise Sanders, and I have been on each one of, besides the I've been involved in every one of the clubs that is involved in this project. And I'm sitting as a community member now because I'm actually not involved in any of them at the moment. So, but this shows you in our how this project would benefit our community and the broader community. We have 476 paying members, so that's football, netball and golf club. And then we moved on to, we have an additional 1,200 club patrons. So that includes all of the people that are involved in all of those clubs as well. And then how we foresee this building and project would affect further the broader community into the Coorong community members of 5,463. The whole district, the Coorong District Council area, and having a facility that would house 300 people, and we would like to think it'd be of benefit to the whole district council.
So as we're well aware, and we've spoken about this to, I think, to all of the councillors in recent times, Meningie currently doesn't have an adequate facility as a function centre. The two major sporting clubs involved in this project, the football, netball club and the golf club, facilities are showing their age, 50 plus years old, have been renovated at various times in that stage and added onto, and with all additions to a building over time, eventually you can't add any more, and it gets to the point where you have to start again. So the plan is to share a facility and start again with a purpose-built, modern function centre that will cater for the community's needs. So this is the site. It's on the existing football club site, southern end of the town oval. The line at the bottom of the screen there, that's actually the boundary of the golf club. The number one hole is less than 100 metres from the back door or the back wall of the football club. It's quite a large building. It's to cater for all the requirements that we think that the community and the clubs are going to need going forward. It's a planned view. You can see the seating area, a commercial grade bar and kitchen facilities, a raised area for like as in a stage for function. It's both an outdoor access and an indoor access toilets next to a canteen. The top left is the north view from the oval, looking at the building. Bottom left is the south view from the golf club side. Western side, western view on the top right, and eastern view on the bottom right. This is more concept drawings. So this is where we're at. So the project initiation and community consultation, well, it actually started over 10 years ago when the football club had a crack at this. If you really want to go back, it must be a 30-year-old, possibly even longer, community concept. It just never really got momentum. So as I said, we started 10 years ago, and it was quite a process. It was nowhere near as professional as the way we're going about it now, I would have to say. And mostly when the golf club expressed interest of being involved is what really got things going again, because in some respects we were waiting for that to happen. When that did occur, that was the trigger for us to do what we're doing now and what we've done. So in the past 12 months, we've produced a business case, which I believe you've all seen, a concept plan, which is in that. Obviously, quite a bit of expense to do all this. To date, we've spent $40,000 to complete this, the things that we've done. We've also had it costed. The costing came back late last year. And then since then, we've got the quote for the the final drawings and engineering work that has to happen, and to get planning approval so that this project will be shovel ready. So we're very much aware that we have to go through this process. We are to be successful in receiving any sort of grant funding. We have to be shovel ready in the true sense of the word. The money, if we're fortunate enough to receive funding to do this, it's the bulk of it's going to come from the feds, we believe. If that's the case, as I said, we have to be shovel ready. We cannot present a submission that is not shovel ready, because it's just going to be very easy for the funding bodies to say no. Simple as that. So to get the final engineering and drawings done, roughly $200,000 is what we require. The quote is actually $288,000. We're financial at the moment, but we think a $200,000 loan would cover the shortfall and allow us to keep the momentum going. We feel that we've achieved quite a bit in the last 12 to 18 months, that if we are to sit around waiting for the money to come, which may or may not come, that we will lose momentum and interest will wane, and it'll be a struggle to get people motivated to keep the momentum going. So we're very keen to get things underway so that we can get this in place, and so that we are truly shovel ready, hopefully by the end of this year. It basically outlines what I've just said. This other document, I believe you've all seen that as well. That's been sent out, so it's quite clear what's involved. It's quite a bit of work. We always knew this was coming. We just didn't know how much until quite recently. And if it's any consolation, it's substantially less than what we had been anticipating. We thought it was going to be considerably more. So we believe from a loan perspective, we have the ability to repay that over a period of time. Fortunately, we are financial. We have a cropping program which we lease 40 hectares a year of fairly prime cropping country, and we have done very well out of it over the last, actually it's 2010 was when we started, and the Meningie Community Sports Ground has taken over that fundraising project to continue its requirements, its funding requirements. So we believe that alone, let alone other fundraising opportunities that arise, we have the ability to repay a $200,000 loan quite easily. Before we go any questions, I just want to say one thing, if I may. We are a voluntary-run community organisation that has, we believe, set up the correct entity to undertake a project such as this. The Meningie community currently doesn't have an adequate facility. In fact, you could argue that the Coorong Council region doesn't have an adequate facility for what we're talking about. We are financial. $200,000 loan would be over 5 years, roughly $30,000 in interest. If council was to cover the interest component of that loan, we would have a multi-million-dollar project that would be truly shovel ready, that the cost council $30,000 only. The rest has come from our entity or our community to get it. So it'll be roughly $250,000 we will contribute ourselves to getting this project to be shovel ready. I wish in business that I had an opportunity like that, where for $30,000 I got a $200,000 benefit that the whole community would be very much appreciative of. So yeah, I just thought I'd make that comment before I take any questions.
Questions, councillors?
I'll start. break the ice. In relation to the groups that you've got there, are there any other identifiable groups that may join in the future?
Yes, have been in discussion with the RSL, as I think some of you would know. They've chosen not to continue that discussion for reasons of their for their own reasons. Having said that, our design of the building has taken into account that possibly they will come back one day, because that when that concept design was first put together, RSL were involved in the discussions. There are other sporting clubs in the town that I believe would possibly be benefit by being part of this, but that's not for us to tell them. That has to come from council or someone else to have that happen.
Councillor Roundtree.
Thank you, Mayor. Can other groups that are not sporting groups use this facility for functions? Like, do you envisage it as, say, a wedding function at some point, or like craft groups or elderly groups that might want to use the space?
Yes, definitely. And that's probably something that we're hoping for because of, well, I know the golf club, we have a wedding coming up and these are the sorts of functions that this build is actually something that you can divide up to. Okay. So there will be partitions, so you can sit 300 people in one seating, or you can divide it up into a boardroom or 150. So, or you know, basically whatever you want.
Yeah.
So yes, that is what we're hoping for. That we can actually hold functions for all sorts of ranges of things. You know, you have a funeral, things like that. There is nowhere for a large funeral to be held, or so this is the sort of thing that, I mean, you don't want that, but it is something definitely open to the whole community.
And we think industry will utilise a venue such as this if it's available.
Gorgeous.
Other questions? Councillor Maidment.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a comment to start and then two questions, if I may. Very comprehensive report. Great job. Well done. That's the big problem with some of these things. They don't do it properly. So well done on that. You mentioned in that report you would have a part-time manager as employed part-time. Do you think there'd be more employment moving forward rather than relying totally on volunteering all the time?
That's very much in our discussion.
Okay.
We I think we're all aware of the volunteer base is in everywhere.
Yeah.
We'd like to think that this building, when it gets built, that it would have a part-time manager, and possibly that would expand to further employment.
Sure.
To operate it.
Important in regional areas, isn't it?
It's very much in our thinking.
Yeah, cool.
We think that's going to be. I think it'll happen naturally.
Yeah. It's like build it and they'll come. Then those things will come. Yeah. My other question is probably a bit of a dicey one, but you mentioned about your cropping program for funding. How do I put this? There's no way that can fund the 200,000. You really need council loan to do that.
We can't generate enough funds in a short period of time. That sort of money, no.
Question had to be asked.
Yeah, fair enough. But we can certainly pay it off.
Yeah.
With that.
Okay. No, I think it's well done.
The councillors' questions. Councillor Bland.
Just want to follow up on your timing. You've indicated that you want to have this ready to go basically for the next financial year or the next round of grants into next financial year. You're obviously looking at both state and federal, or just federal?
It'll be both state and federal.
Okay.
Yeah, we're very much, as a result of the minister's visit back in January, we've been able to get access to the CEO of Rec and Sport and some senior staff there, which is in the past, that's just about being impossible. We've actually met with them only a few weeks ago. And yeah, look, now we've been able to get that sort of access. We believe we're going to be able to get some funding from them when we are shovel ready. That's the thing. And that's the problem with a lot of these projects. They'll fund a project, but they don't fund the planning and all the preparatory work that needs to. So that's where we're at.
Can I just follow up on that, if I might? And so my second half of that question is really around the size of the grants that are likely to come. So with this project being able to be broken up into bite-sized pieces. So you're looking at the planning now, staging of this may have to be in a lot smaller pieces. Can that be done?
Not easily, no.
No.
That's the
Okay.
short answer.
Didn't think so, but I'll just.
Yeah, no, it's something we've considered, but we just couldn't get our head around how we could stage it. No.
It'd be nice.
Mm.
Makes sense.
Councillor Peach.
Just in terms of the 200,000 and what that's going to cover, we're currently on the public records. Could you just explain a bit about that? So obviously we're looking at development approval as part of that. Could you just break that down a bit in terms of what you're looking for that money to cover?
For any build, particularly a big build like this, the engineering and architectural drawings, you've got to have the detailed plan so that they can be presented to a builder. That's basically what that money would be for, is to prepare all that together so it's actually to approval standard. And then you can basically say, if you've got all that documentation, here it is, go and build it.
So if I was reading the information before correctly, that's also looking at actually going through the development process with those
Yes.
designs?
Yes.
So that it would be able to be built at the point of any other funding coming?
Yes, that's the plan. Truly shovel ready.
Follow up. And that
Yes.
is on the grant process after that, is that you'll be in a position to assist, to fund some of the grant writing processes. You've got someone who can do that, or you'll
Yes,
get
we've
that professionally
actually
done.
already got someone involved in that.
And you will fund that as a club.
Yes, we can fund that. Yeah,
Thank you.
we'll. Yep. Just maybe a final comment.
Mhm.
In the last 20 years, there's been two opportunities come along that if we were ready, quite possibly we could get a project like this off the ground. And one of those is when the Millennium Drought, when the lake dried up, there was an opportunity then, but no one was ready for that. And the more recent one was the COVID pandemic. I think if we had something like this ready to go, it would have been seriously considered. So opportunities come along, you need to be ready for when it happens. And that's what we're trying to do.
For sure.
Any further questions, councillors? Councillor Qualman.
Thank you, Mr Mayor, and thank you for your, Henry and Lou, your comprehensive report. What I found good about the potential of this facility is it also would be a multi-function facility as well. My question is that if it gets up and gets going and all that, and you have a paid part-time manager, and then you to relieve the problems of our always looking for a volunteer, and we're never able to find enough of them to take on more paid staff. How do you tend to try and pay, or how are you going to have some sort of revenue scheme? Have you got what's going to happen when you get up and running? Where's the money going to come from? Is that memberships on all the various clubs, or fees or charges, or please? Thank you.
Yes, well, I've had a subcommittee to work out the budget, because as you can imagine, it was everybody's, all the clubs that were involved in this, it was their first question was, how does it run? How will we be able to get our money out of the club? You know, what we're going to lose money. We're the bigger club out of it all, so we'll have to pay more. We did a funding, a budget on that with the financial reports of each of the clubs, every club involved. And it actually worked out that the golf club and the football club, and I think it's in the budget's actually in that one.
Business case.
Yes, in the business case. And so in that shows that the golf club and the football netball club are the two that create the most money. And it actually worked out, considering there are only 4 home games for Meningie, netball and football with the Coorong Cats, and then the golf club are there every day, pretty much, or every week, a couple of days a week. And it worked out that our finances were basically the same in our income and expenditure. So it was quite a surprise to see that. So how it would work is all of your everyday expenses, each club would still organise those. They keep their own sponsorship, they keep their own membership. And any of the running, that covers all of their running costs. So basically, it's the bar, catering. Well, even the catering we've kept separate for now because it's just but that will happen in time. But yeah, the bar and what's taken over the bar is actually what will keep it going, and it's so that's pretty much where that is the budget worked out beautifully. We thought we'd put up a couple of proposals to the committee, and we did the first one and thought, well, no, it's a no-brainer. This works well. So, and everyone was very happy with that.
So, Councillor, in addition, I was part of the visit of a group of the committee to Plimpton Parks Sports Club in Adelaide, and then most of the grounds in Adelaide are paid for by councils, actually, as in the buildings. So they had showed us the models of how you may split up the funds.
Right.
Principal question that can slow this process up. So pretty confident that that is all quite manageable in this scenario. Right, councillors, I'm nearly there. Any more questions? Okay. Henry and Lou, thank you so much for coming. It's a requirement for people seeking a community loan like this to make a deputation to council. So that's why we've got you here today. Thank you. We were going to have another presentation, but at this stage they haven't made it here yet. They won't be here. We'll change it to perhaps the April 1st one. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Cheers. Councillors, we are up to number 9, public question time. We appear to have none. Ashley, I can't see anything from here. No, I can't see that. So I'm going to write none. 10, decision reports. 10.1, Murray-Darling Association National Conference and Annual General Meeting at Griffith, I think I remembered. Councillors, if you wish to send the mayor, I'd actually be pretty prepared to go this one, but there is a report there. There is a recommendation.
Just a question, Mr. Mayor. The CEO still a voting member?
No, I'm not. MDA, I'm a proxy for the Region 6.
Through the chair, the voting delegate for the national conference, council can decide who they want to appoint. It doesn't have to be a member of Region 6. It can be.
And it has been you before.
Yes,
though. Yeah.
correct.
So that's right.
Councillors Peach and Quammen, I think, are our delegates to Region 6. Is that right?
Correct.
Do you both wish? One wish? Anyone wish to go? Who's the?
Well, I'm happy to nominate yourself and Councillor Quammen.
I'm happy to second that for both of you.
Councillor Quammen, are you up for a trip to Griffith?
Well, I went to Tamworth. I'm sort of getting used to travelling. Yes, so you can put my name down. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
So, Councillor Peach, you've nominated.
I'll nominate yourself and Councillor Quammen and
Quammen at this stage. You wish to nominate Councillor Quammen, I hope, as the voting delegate.
I'm happy to do so, Mr. Mayor.
Is any other councillor interested in this process? Councillors, I had a small holiday and got to Deniliquin, and I survived them hanging me from under a tree. pretty interesting discussions around the way that district or that part of the country perceives water use in this area. I was going to say water wastage, but that's their words. So I'm a bit interested in tackling it head on, something like this.
Just on that subject, is the consideration of us being water wasters the fact that we have the mouth and the water
Yeah.
flows out?
It just, I watched something on YouTube a few nights ago, and that's exactly how it's portrayed by others. So it's all of that. Okay, so I've got moved councillor Peach, seconded councillor Roundtree, I think was how it worked, wasn't it?
Yep.
That with the attendance of councillor Foreman and myself, Murray-Darling Association's 2025 National Conference and Annual General Meeting be held in Griffith the end of September, and appoint councillor Qualman as council's voting delegate at that particular meeting. Is there any, right, any debate around that? You'll close.
Close.
I'll put the motion.
Oh,
Councillor Arthur, you were going to say something.
I'm just going to ask that we get a detailed analysis from the Murray-Darling Basin Association of the outcomes of all the motions that they've moved for the last 12 months. I know we do get a copy of what they do, but we don't get the results of. Always been my bugbear for a long time. There's a lot of motions moved there.
What's the result? So it's on the website,
Not
councillor.
much action after the motion.
On the website, I'm informed. Sure you've got that skill?
Yeah.
We can print it off for you.
That they've met with the minister,
Yeah.
they've done this, but
Yeah.
it's never an outcome, as against what the motions are. implying.
I know, and the motions are generally broad to make them acceptable. I know what you're saying.
Well, never seen one beaten yet.
So, but they're around advocacy for sure. Okay, being that, I'm going to put the motion. All those in favour? Those against? That's carried unanimously. Number 2, General Assembly of Local Government. Councillor, sorry, I've indicated to you before, and I have indicated to the Deputy Mayor a minute ago, I'd really myself not want to go to this, and I've been to 2 or 3 now, and it becomes at a particularly awkward time for my business, to be quite blunt. And I would think if the Deputy Mayor was in agreement, we might give him an opportunity to go, or anyone else I might add. Councillor Bland?
I was going to, now that you've said that, I've changed my mind, but I'm going to move
No.
the Deputy Mayor and Councillor O'Hara.
Yes, certainly.
Do we need to?
I can't stand for that because I'm going to be in Europe.
Oh, don't go to Europe. Easy.
I think I go the day after that, actually.
You can go halfway.
I'm happy to second the nomination.
So Councillor,
of the Deputy Mayor.
Councillor Peach is at this stage any nomination. Seriously, anyone else wish to go to that several day event?
I've been to a number, so I'm more than happy, Councillor.
Ordinarily would love to. It's just right in the middle of our harvest in June.
Councillor Arthur, do you?
No, Mr Mayor, I think we should be showing restraint
Yeah, no,
on our costs.
Just send one person.
I agree with you. That's right. Okay. So council is going to go with someone needs to move this.
Councillor Peach and the Mayor.
No, just Deputy Mayor.
Last year, it severely stressed myself and my business to not be away from that crucial period of the year and I don't think I can afford to do it again. I've been 2 or 3 years and perhaps in the following year, but not this coming year. Yes.
Point, but it does mean that we need to talk about at some point, yourself and Councillor Peach and see who is it?
That's right. So, yeah, that I suppose it's proved more difficult as time's gone on getting into ministers. I'm well aware of our program, but
If I may, that it's,
Councillor Peach,
yes, I think we need to have that conversation at the end of May
Yeah.
because we won't know who.
that's partially the problem we have at the moment. And it's partially the problem, I don't even know if it's a sitting week yet. Parliament, but anyway.
Well, it depends on the outcome of the election. when
Outcome
that's
of the
called,
election,
so-
of course. Your point's taken, councillor. Okay, so option one is that councillor.
Part and parcel of that motion, Mr Mayor, do we have to include a report has to be provided, or is that?
Comes
part and
with the
parcel of it?
territory. I presume the CEO might go, but
I'm hoping, a bit like councillor O'Hara, that I'm in Morocco on that week. But the acting CEO, I haven't discussed with them yet, but definitely.
probably safer to let councillor Peach loose in Canberra than me online. Councillor- You had that look, Arthur. He's probably more acquainted than that area. The council endorsed councillor Peach to attend, or Deputy Mayor councillor Peach to attend the 25 National General Assembly of Local Government. Can someone move that way, please?
Done.
Is it? How much sorry, I didn't read it off that one. Any discussion? There being none, I'm going to put the motion. All those in favour? Those against, that's carried unanimously. (2025) Local Government Association Conference, an ordinary general meeting, which is a half-yearly one in effect in Adelaide, I presume. There you go, Adelaide Oval. Councillors, anyone wish to go to that? It's a one-day event in effect on the 23rd of May. Don't rush me. Councillor May, but you'd like to go?
I will provided my roster, but I can probably,
Roster suits.
I can probably wangle that.
You're going to wangle that, I'm told you're very
Probably
influential.
Take an
Yeah.
annual leave day to go to this, maybe, if they'll let me. I think given that it's about building livable communities, it's probably a good thing
Yep.
for me to go to. So,
Certainly. Any other councillors wish to go to this half-yearly conference? If we put you down, and I suppose the worst you'll do is say you can't go, is that sort of fair? If you could sort of get back to us pretty quickly around if you just cannot go for some reason. Okay, anyone else?
Through you, Mr Mayor. I'm not saying that I wouldn't go to this, but I'm sorry, I'm going to be in Thailand.
I want your life.
In the wrong business, Mick. Yep, no, appreciate your offer though.
Otherwise, I'm glad to go.
Okay, councillors, we've got councillor endorse the attendance of myself and councillors Maidment and Bland to the 25 Local Government Association Conference, an ordinary general meeting. It's not the AGM, it's the half-yearly meeting, 23rd of May. Someone move that, please. Councillors Qualman and Rountree are the mover and seconder. Any discussion? With the motion, all those in favour? Those against, that's carried unanimously. Number 3, I presume, 4. South Australian Voting Advisory Committee. There's 2 options there, councillor, whether you wish to nominate someone to go forward as a name to the LGA and the Minister to pick. Councillor Rountree.
I'm happy to move option 2.
Thank you. Councillors Rountree and O'Hara, is there any discussion around that? Being none, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Those against, that's carried unanimously. Number 5, inquiry into local government sustainability interim report. Recommendation that council receive and note the report. Councillors, any? Councillor Rountree?
Question?
Yes.
So this is a federal government inquiry into local government. How does it fit with the state's SCOSA inquiry? Like, did they blend together? Because when I read it, I just thought it looked very similar. Just different?
They're 2 very separate things. I think, look, you could say whether it was a accident that they were done together at the same time, but SCOSA is a 4-year cycle. And this was from memory, a standing committee tasked with looking at sustainability for local government. And I suppose it comes off the back of every Canberra meeting there is a question about the funding from the financial assistance grants. And so that committee was tasked with looking at the sustainability. I don't know whether they would talk with the SCOSA. Every state does that slightly differently. So they would probably have some discussion with the states, but it was predominantly a federally run committee.
So the federal one's more through Mayor about the issues facing local government, whereas the SCOSA is more about financial sustainability.
Yeah, they're two different bodies and they would see themselves as very separate.
And they don't sort of have any overlap.
No.
Okay. I think it was good through Mayor to see that there are something like 287 submissions. I'm glad to see Coorong was able to put some submissions in, and I think the emerging themes of the stuff that we've already been organically talking about anyway before this report came out, managing health, infrastructure, education, all those things that are relevant to us here seem to be very relevant to nearly every single other council in Australia, which is, I guess, a very big red flag for the government in that they need to seriously look at this. So what is it from this? And I've only just skimmed it, but what benefits will come out of this report, and what are the next steps for these councils for us to do to sort of drive this, or where does it get parked? Is there any actionable items that we can take from this afterwards?
So generally with any state government or Commonwealth government for that matter, inquiry into things, a series of recommendations come out of it. It's then up to the state or federal governments to either accept those recommendations or not. And it's from there a process. Lobby groups and advocacy groups will use it to cite the recommendations to say recommendation 4, 5 and 6 have been endorsed. Thank you very much, Commonwealth Government, but 9, 10 and 11 are still outstanding. What are you intending to do about it? It could be a conversation with your local federal member from a council perspective to keep the momentum going. But as you would probably be aware, some of these committees make recommendations. The government doesn't accept or reject them 2, 3 years out. Sometimes it's really just a fact-finding mission. Is it a robust process? People vary on that about whether it is or it isn't.
I mean, all of these things cost money to do. Then the cost sitting behind running this sort of an inquiry would be millions of dollars. And for it not to end up in a point where something actionable happens, this is losing my voice, would be really tragic. So I just sort of see the fact that there are so much similarities between all the councils over these issues and these issues that are facing us today, and we've talked about them in this chamber. It'd be nice to see add more advocacy or working out a way we can actually move this forward. I thought it was a really interesting read, actually.
Yeah, I'd say that gives ALGA and LGA South Australia and those sort of groups something to lever off of. I wouldn't be surprised that you note there that the first one for enabling infrastructure to unlock housing supply would be the lead, and you could argue we've been a recipient of a grant last month of 500,000 to sort of start to do that. Roads are always there. There'd be no particular secret in the local government, at least in South Australia, that the LRCI program was pretty highly regarded as a useful program, and the projects we're finishing hopefully in the next 3 months are still in that program. So, yeah, and for some people it'll be around emergency management.
So through